Hello out there in cryptocurrency land. How is everybody doing? Welcome to this special report from Real Crypto. So this is a video that I've been wanting to do for a little while now and finally getting around to it, have a little bit of time. And what this is about is the future of Bitcoin. Kind of long-term future. We're talking a few months out, maybe a little bit more than that, but what we're talking about is Bitcoin 1200. That's what you're all here to see. So we're going to talk about Bitcoin 1200, and please bear with me. Um, please understand that this is what the chart is telling me. This is not what anything that I'm inferring. This isn't my guess. This isn't, this isn't anything of my opinion. This is just something that the history has shown and what the charts are showing. And I'm going to walk you through these steps, pretty much step by step here. So first, I'll start out by saying, what a tremendous run in Bitcoin. I mean, we all know that, but I mean, just from a charting perspective, this is phenomenal. This is crazy. And it's not done. Don't get me wrong. This isn't a doom and gloom video. This is not done. Bitcoin will eventually, in my eyes, hit 15,000 in the intermediate, well, in the long term. In the long term, it'll hit at least 15,000. That's at least what's in the charts. So here we go. All right. So first of all, Bitcoin has had two sequential runs up about 300%. Went from the low to the high in 2015 of about 350. Okay. And then we take this high, you take it up to the highs of today, 335%, right near 350%. So we've already had two sequential moves up 300% each time. Okay, each time it's been up 300%. That's phenomenal. That is ridiculous. Now I also want to mention that each time that we've gone up to this 300% point, we have retraced. Okay, we're starting this retracement right now. If you've been following the video series in the channel, you can know that Bitcoin is very weak here. Ethereum is very weak here. The whole market is extraordinarily weak here. So it's not looking like a bottom is in. It's looking like it is possibly going to continue, which is another reason why I'm doing this video. I want to prepare you guys for a possible future. So if you've been watching me, you also know I don't do fibs very often. This may be the only time you ever see me pull a fib upon my own willingness. So on this Fibonacci retracement right here, we pulled back to approximately the 786 level, the 786 fib. Okay, actually we even cut down further than that. We even cut down further than that to these lows. So what happens if we take that same retracement from these lows to this high? What level do we get? We get $1,200. So that's the introduction and the rationale behind the $1,200 Bitcoin. Now, if this plays out, and I'm starting to think it might, with the weakness that we're seeing in Bitcoin, I'm starting to think it might, and I'm going to explain why. All right, so I'm going to leave these up here. I'm going to leave these up here for now, just so you can kind of wrap your hand and look at different levels. One other thing I want to mention real quick before I get to that is that I want you to notice that the time difference between these highs. Look at the time difference between these peaks. These both happened in the same year. These were about 7 months apart. 7 months from top to top, we had 7 months. From this top to this top, obviously is longer than 7 months. It's actually been about 3 years and 10 months. We go from 7 months here to almost 4 years here. That is quite a significant time increase for this run to happen. And I think something similar is going to happen when we hit Bitcoin 15,000. So if you extrapolate this up from 5,000, so from 5,000 plus 330%, just because I'm a little lazy, let's pull up my calculator here. It's on the other screen. So we're going to do 5,000 times 3.3, 16,500. So that would be your next approximate rise in Bitcoin if this pattern plays out, because this is now a pattern. This has happened multiple times. Okay, happened multiple times, the same pattern, this exact same pattern. All right, so we've established that. I've beaten that into your heads enough. So what kind of time frame are we looking at here? Are we looking at another 4 years? Are we looking at 8 years? What are we looking at? Well, that I can't tell you. The only thing I can say is that the float in Bitcoin has gone higher. So when this first top occurred, the float in Bitcoin was 8.7 million Bitcoin. And then at this top, we were at 12 million Bitcoin. That's a 50% increase in Bitcoin right there. So also, this was, keep in mind, this was still in its infancy, right? I mean, obviously, Bitcoin in 2013 is a different beast than it is in 2017. But the 2017 float is 16 million, so that's about a 33% increase. So a 33% increase between Bitcoin float between this top and this top. We're breaking out to 2019. We're probably looking at approximately 19 million Bitcoin. So that's not going to be nearly as much of an increase. So my anticipation would be we keep somewhere along this time frame of about 3 years or so, of about 3 years until we hit the next peak, Now, how about until we hit all-time highs? How about until we hit all-time highs again? Well, the run from here to here, from where we broke this high to where we ran up from this high to this high, that run up was only about a month, only about 1 month. So that's quite a run in a month. I actually bought Bitcoin there, kind of as a side note. Actually traded that quite successfully. And this run up that we've had here recently, this has taken 6 months. So this has taken about 6 months. So you take 6 months out of that 3 years and 10 months, you're looking at it, just approximately 3 years and 2 months until we get back towards those all-time highs. So if you're one of those HODLers, those holders that don't know how to spell hold, if you're a holder, there's a possibility you could be holding 4 years, or legitimately 3 years from up in this level. If you bought Bitcoin up over 3,000 from this breakout level, you could be holding it for 3 years. Just be prepared for that. That's something that is possible. Now you could say, hey, this is not going to happen. This is never going to happen. You're crazy. So I look forward to those comments below. And this isn't the video where I'm telling you this is 100% going to happen. But I can tell you the feeling that I get from this market is that this is in the cards. This is in the cards. So why? Why is this in the cards? And why does this base take so long? How do we go from this taking 7 months to this taking 3 years? Well, number one is the float. Number two is that people got beaten down during this uptrend. They thought they were getting into something fantastic, and they expected it to rocket up like this, but in a much shorter time frame. There's expectations of this, and that's just people's opinions of the market. That's not what the market did. And so they got taken to the woodshed. Now, there's a lot of people that bought up here that sold down here. That's how these highs and these tops are formed. And there's like actual psychology behind this. There's actually market psychology behind these moves. So there's a euphoria that happens at the top. People get a little more distraught, a little more despair, a little more, and they start to sell off little by little by little until there's finally this panic washout. There's these panic washouts that occur down at these lows, at these extreme lows. Look at this large volume. People are saying, "Oh my God, oh my goodness, it's down here at $200. I'm getting out." They held it at 1,000, they held it 500. Now it's at 200. They're like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna get something out of this." So they end up selling. And you know what? The same thing could happen here. We could see the exact same phenomenon here. In fact, that's probably exactly what's going to happen. But we're going to get down here towards $1,200. We're probably not going to go much further than that. Maybe we test 1,000. So the reason I'm doing this video is I want you guys to be aware of this. I want you to understand that this is a possibility. I want you to be prepared for that and say, if you're a holder, you're going to hold for years. Okay? I want to put that out there. I'm not saying that's a bad thing if that's your strategy. If you don't need the money, if you don't plan on using it, that's perfectly fine. But in 2 years from now, if we're sitting down here at 1,500, 1,200 or something, I mean, it's just in the cards. So let's just kind of play this out. Let's just say this kind of move holds here, right? Just kind of say that we end up with this type of a move. Where does this put us? Where does this put us? So first of all, this puts us flattening out at about the beginning of the year, at about If you take a look at this, where's my time? My time went away. Where'd it go? Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Looks like January, February. So this is if we stick to this 3-year time horizon, okay, of this being 3 years. Now, if it's longer than 3 years, I mean, it's obvious it could get much, much deeper, much faster. So we could end up looking at something like this if 1200's in the cards. We could end up bottoming out somewhere here about 2020. Now, guys, this is, I mean, I'm talking crazy here, right? I'm literally talking crazy. I can hear you people saying I'm insane. I can hear people shutting off the video right now. But, you know, can I be right? Can this actually happen, okay? I think this can actually happen. I think this can actually happen. I don't know if it's in the cards for it to actually do this, but we have time on our side, and the fact that, you know, for the foreseeable future, we're still up above 3,000, and we can see if we get a lot more weakness. If you go back to this high, over here, we had a big shakedown, then a big pullback up before another break. We could get something similar to that. Excuse me. These washouts happen in cycles. They don't go straight down and curve as you see here. They move. They're fluid. So right now we're kind of in a panic mode. We could flatten out here for a little bit and then drift higher, which, if we did that, would definitely bode for a longer term type of a trend, because if that occurs, we're in for something like this. Oh, it's a ray. If that occurs, we're in for something like this, right? We're in for something of this nature. We could bounce up and then float up in here and then curl over at some point in time. All right, I'm not going to bore you too much more with this, but there it is. I wanted to put that out on the table for you. I wanted you to see that. I wanted you to make your own determination and your own decision. I want you to see some analysis based on some history and some actual numbers, and see kind of what could be in the cards. We've had a fantastic run all the way up here into 5,000 from 1,200. It's been 330%, and that may be the end of it for the foreseeable future. So this could be in the cards. I don't know if I want it to be in the cards. If it plays out, you have a game plan, guys. You have a game plan. 1,200, 1,000, load up. Load up. You know, we could have a little flat base happening right here. If you want to buy right on this break, here, this would have broken at about $321. You wouldn't have caught these lows of 200, but you wouldn't have had to hold through 8 months worth of consolidation. So we always talk about not buying the lows and buying when you know that the move is over. And this is a prime example of that. Let's clear this out just to give you a clear view of this. So we're going to end this here shortly. Just want to show this to you. If we get these lows, and end up in a channel, this goes for any altcoin. This is just good general trading. Excuse me again. So when we break these channel levels, right, that's right where you want to buy it, right there. So $300, you would have slowly worked your way up to 400, been profitable, been happy, and never touched that level ever again. And that is why we buy here and why we don't buy here. Okay? So anyway, guys, there you go. There's the video. Love to hear your comments on this. This will be an interesting conversation. I can't wait to have it. I will see you guys in the live streams and in the chat rooms.